Welcome to The Beam, where curiosity stirs conversations, taking us a step further into the future we desire. I'm Sunas Nathaniel, and as always, we bring you the issues that matter, the voices that challenge everything, and the insights that inspire. But before we get into our conversation today, let us first bring you our quick tech update. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome. Here's a quick tech update for the week. The National Data Protection Commission has unveiled ambitious initiatives aimed at accelerating job creation. At a briefing to mark the 2025 National Privacy Week, the National Commissioner, Mr. Vincent Olatunji, emphasized the Commission's strategic focus on human capital development, while outlining how data will serve as a catalyst for economic growth. Meantime, the federal government has announced the launch of the Deep Tech Ready Upskilling Program, designed to equip Nigerians with foundational skills and advanced competencies required to thrive in the field of data science, artificial intelligence. And the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, who announced the launch, said the program was also part of efforts to strengthen the 3 Million Technical Talents Initiative. On the foreign scene, with the rise of DeepSeek, President Trump's Commerce Secretary nominee, Howard Lutnick, told his U.S. Senate confirmation hearing that he favors their cross-border tariffs targeting countries rather than products, while signaling a hawkish China stance. According to Lutnick, tariffs can be used to create reciprocity, fairness, and respect.
I think the Chinese use our patent office against us. They use our laws. They have huge applications, and those applications are growing like fire. Their trademarks, what they would do is they would say Senator Bud, and then they'd say S Bud and S Bud S. They just go right around your trademark and abuse it. So I think we need to stop that. We need to address it. We need to stop it. We need to end it. And we need to have countries understand if you do not respect our company's IP there, you should not respect the same treatment here. Reciprocity is a word that really is effective.
Meanwhile, Britain will become the first country to introduce laws against AI tools used to generate sexual abuse images. The British government says it will make it illegal to possess, create, or distribute AI tools designed to generate sexualized images of children, punishable by up to 5 years in prison. And finally, South Korea will ask Chinese startup DeepSeek how it manages users' personal information. Seoul's data watchdog says it intends to submit its request in writing to obtain information about how DeepSeek handles personal data. Now that's your quick tech update for this week. Stay tuned for more cutting-edge news from the ever-evolving world of technology. Enjoy the rest of the program.
Still popular from the PDP because of his antics to continually divide the party. For if the national party leadership do not see to this, PDP may cease to enjoy the support of Rivers youth, may cease to enjoy the support of Nigerian youth in Rivers State in the forthcoming election. Enough of this impunity. Rivers youth vehemently stand by the rule of law, and we shall not condone anything that threatens our nascent democracy, anything that threatens the peace and development of Rivers State and in Nigeria at large. We will remain peaceful to ensure that this war of rule of law is won. Are you going to allow 2 or 3 persons spend Rivers money without appropriation bill? No. So therefore, we have given to peace, preach peace, canvass peace. Let the Rivers State government not take Rivers youth for granted. In the forthcoming days, we shall consult with relevant authorities and take decisive actions on these positions, because match our words with actions, and the world will know that rule of law is the only way for sustainable development in the country. God bless you all, and thank you for coming.
Get into today's discussion. The Niger Delta, a land of immense wealth, yet burdened by oil spills, environmental degradation, and political tension at the heart of it is the question, can the youth truly drive change, or are they merely pawns in a political game? Joining us now via Zoom is Dr. Theophilus Alaye, the president of the Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide, fresh off his visit to former militant leader Asari Dokubo, who is now the Amayanabo of Toro-Samaripiri local government in Degema, if I'm not mistaken, there in Rivers State. Dr. Alaye has been at the center of critical discussions on the state of the Niger Delta. Dr. Alaye, you are welcome to the program. All right. Let's begin with your recent visit to Asari Dokubo, his endorsement of your leadership. It comes at a crucial time when, you know, people are asking themselves, what is the way for the Nigerian youth? What's the way for the Niger Delta youth? What's the way for the region? And then the question becomes, in a broader sense, what really does that endorsement which he gave you when you visited him, what really does it play out, or how does it play out for the larger good of the Niger Delta, from the Ijaw youths to the Niger Delta proper? How does it play out?
Of the source, one that understands the struggle of the people of the Ijaw national, ethnic nationality, and he has contributed immensely for the growth, the well-being, and the survival of the Ijaw ethnic nationality. And if someone of that caliber has been given a throne and staff of office has been handed over to him as one-time president of council, it is expected of us to go and celebrate and share with him. That is what took us to Elim Kalabari, where the Amayanaba of the source, King Alazi Asari Dokubo, received us, and we had one or two discussions. Be that as it may, you know, the IYC is a movement, it's a pressure group, and it has its own focus and goal. The goal of Ijaw Nation, IYC, is resource control by any means. That means we as a people, we want to also manage our God-given natural resources and pay back tax to the federal government as being done in every other region of the country. Visiting Alhaji Asari Dokubo, our renowned king, and his endorsements came to Ijaw Nation in a very good and welcome light. Why am I saying so? The IYC, as we may all, so many persons will agree with us, has been having some internal issues where those that does not really understand why the IYC was formed found themselves and trying to use the IYC to do what we call trading. And Alhaji Asari Dokubo over time has told the world, he has made himself clear to the world that his interest is about Ijaw Nation, the progress of Ijaw Nation, how the Ijaw Nation will get it right, and that has always been his modus operandum of operation. So he has also come to understand, and he has also agreed with us, that some persons that are in the IYC is not interested in how Ijaw Nation is going to survive, how we are going to get our resources to feed ourselves, but how they will use our platform to feed fat and get rich and abandon majority of Ijaw youth. And as a revered king, he understands that the essence of the formation, which, mind you, he was among the founding fathers of the IYC. And he believed that the IYC is to be used for the movement survival and the actualization of resource control in the Niger Delta. So he has also come to terms with us that we are the people that has gotten the prayers of the Ijaw Nation, and as someone that also believes in the survival of the Ijaw Nation, he believed that I am the rightful leader of the ninth neck of IYC, and we are going to put forces together to see that under our watch, some of these things that we have been agitating for, like cleaning up of our environment, giving us the resources that we are generating in our territory for us to manage so that we can pay tax to the federal government, and also putting Ijaw at the forefront to be one of the contributing national ethnic nationality in national politics. So those are the areas that we have come to terms with the Amayanaba of the source. And he said that we will collaborate together to see how under our watch the Ijaw nation will be liberated from the oppressors, those that doesn't want us to benefit from the resources that we are contributing to the Nigerian government. Then secondly,
that you have brought in, I want to go to the next question quickly. It's beautiful that you have brought in the resources, because during that visit it was a major thing. You know, you talked about oil spillage, environmental degradation, and the devastating fires, you know, within the communities. And then the question becomes, you know, looking at the recent one, the oil well 8 OML 18 in Bukuma, and then the question becomes, what is happening at this moment, and what are the youths doing in essence to say that, hey, this will not continue in the Ijaw nation, and this nation has to be cleaned up?
Thank you. You know, over time, we have always been crying to the general public through the media and every other thing. You know, as minorities, we have our own challenges, and those challenges that are before us is the suppressing power from those within the corridor of power at every given point in time. Because as minorities, so many persons that doesn't want our voice to be heard are held bent on pressing the truth down at every given point in time. The OML 18 that is having issues presently at Bukuma is one of so many incidents that has been happening here in the Niger Delta, especially the Ijaw territories. You know, when we talk about facilities that are domiciled here in the Niger Delta, 80% of this oil and gas facility, if I'm not mistaken, is domiciled here in Ijaw lands.
President, can you hear me?
President
Alaye, can you hear me? Dr. Alaye, can you hear me? Please just give us a minute, because we need to take a break now. I want you to continue fully in that thought when we are coming back from this break. I mean, this conversation is just starting. We're going to go deeper into the oil spillage and the problems within the Niger Delta, especially within the Ijaw nation as we speak. And that's what Dr. Alaye is going to pick it up when we come back from this break. Just stay with us. We're going to be unpacking all this. All right, welcome back to the big. I'm still in conversation with Dr. Theophilus Alaye, and we were already speaking about the oil spillage and the problems right now when it comes to the degradation within the Ijaw nation. Dr. Theophilus, let's get right into the heart of that matter, because it's a very crucial one at this time.
Thank you. As I was saying, you know, the Niger Delta that we all are conversant with, the oil and gas facilities that are domiciled here in the Niger Delta, over 80% of those facilities are domiciled in the Ijaw territory. And from 1956, when oil was discovered till date, several of our environment has been contaminated, polluted with these hydrocarbon activities. I can still recall when the Ogoni people started that their environment must be remediated before oil and gas activities are going to be carried out. And from 1995 to date, there has never been any oil and gas activity in Ogoni land. Why the Ijaw people? We have been playing the role of big brothers. We understand the importance of the oil and gas resources to the national development and building of nation. The Ijaw ethnic nationality told the federal government, no, continue to explore and exploit, but take our environment into cognizance. Take it serious. By international best practice, any IOC or any company that operates within the Niger Delta, if you pollute our environment, it is expected of you to clean it up. But here, Rivers is the case. They have turned our environment to pollution heaven, where any person will come, pollute the environment, and went scot-free. The Ogoni land has set a template that, look, you must clean up our environment before we will allow oil and gas exploration to carry on. But the Ijaw ethnic nationality at this particular point in time has been engaging the federal government. And as we speak, the entire Ijaw territory that has been hosting this oil and gas industry is completely polluted. Investigation have shown, both scientific and observation, And we have been appealing to the federal government to see how our environmental integrity can be restored. But till date, they have been managing this with kid gloves. And IYC as a pressure group, as a movement, we are still consulting with our elders because, you know, these states, you know, we have both the state governor, we also have the federal, the local government, we have the assembly members. We also have the freedom fighter and the critical stakeholders. When we want to swing into action by saying that, yes, enough is enough and we wouldn't want anything to be done until our environmental integrity is restored, believe you me, oil and gas activities are going to be shut down completely here in the Niger Delta, particularly the Ijaw territory. We don't want to swing into that now without due consultation, and that is what we are doing. Because when that is done, the state government to a larger extent is going to be affected, the local government to a larger extent is going to be affected. But we want to make a summary of the impact that it will have should we take the part of the financial benefits and allow our environment to be degraded and be deteriorated completely. If we weigh the options and we believe that restoring the environmental integrity is the right way to go, then believe you me, in the next couple of months, we are definitely going to swing into action. Because with what is happening, the NNPC has decided not to treat the Ijaw territory with all form of sincerity. They have never taken us serious because they believe that our state governors and our representatives are more concerned in the economic benefit that are coming from the oil and gas industry rather than restoring environmental integrity. And we are going to hold the IOCs responsible until before they will hand over this, what do they call it? The divestment that they are doing, our environment are going to be restored properly before we will allow them to do that. But what is paramount is that our environment is going what we call modification. We cannot really tell if at all the natural organisms, plants that were used to be in the Niger Delta, that's one of the biggest wetlands in the world, is still having those organisms and plants intact. So we have a lot to go. Why we don't want to join issues with other persons that have already taken their own step? Our own approach is going to be completely different. But the issue on board is that our environment needs complete remediation, and that needs to be done as soon as possible to avoid actions that are going to be detrimental to the Nigerian government and both the state government.
Okay, it's very sad that what we're hearing right now. But beyond environmental concerns, because we're warning for time, there are issues of governance right there in Rivers State. You know, there's a young group that's come to say, hey, that's appropriation bill of 2025 that Simfu Bara, the governor, must surrender it and go back and give it back to the Amawule-led faction of the assembly and all that. The question is, and which is what the call for today is, if you can in 2-3 minutes, are the youths within the Niger Delta, especially now within the Rivers region, are they really suing for change? Are they really pushing for change? Or are they being used as pawns and tools for political machinations? What is happening within the region and the youth? Because it's concerning.
You know, youth in every given society are the bedrock of any nation. And the Niger Delta cannot be an exception. In as much as there are good youths, there are definitely going to be some bad eggs that wouldn't want the good and the well-being of that society. You know, this is issue of Amawele-led acts of assembly. These are issues that has already been, in fact, in as much as with what Supreme Court has made over time with preceding judgments, it is clear and obvious that those persons are no longer assembly members. So, for some group of youth or some group of persons that are not really enlightened to say that a serving governor should go and present a budget to a non-existing assembly member. You know, the character of those youths are questionable. But as I've said earlier, in every society, there are a few bad eggs. That does not mean that every eggs in that society are bad. So some persons are ignorant of the law. They don't know how these things are being done. So we won't join issues with them. But what we know is that the governor of Rivers State has done the right thing by presenting the 2025 appropriation bill to the legitimate House of Assembly. And I believe it has already been passed. And he has been given the mandate to manage the commonwealth, the resources of Rivers people for the good and the betterment of Rivers people and Nigeria in general.
All right, Dr. Lai, thank you very much. We must thank you for your time and insights. The Niger Delta remains a paradox, you know, rich in resources, but what is clear today is that the youths must play a very conscious effort in bringing about change. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's our program for today. But before we go, we're going to be leaving you with our top 5 videos of the week. I'm Soonest Nathaniel, and until next time, remember to stay curious, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep beaming the lights where it matters most. May Nigeria continue to rise and flourish. See you soon. In 5th place, we see the Anambra State government demolishing a hotel which was housing 30 graves and a shrine. 4th on our list is the conversation around the fate of Mudashiru Obasa in the Lagos State Assembly, as well as Tinubu's foreign policy. In 3rd place, we see a lawmaker reacting to the IGP tenure controversy and the trending APC bribery allegation.
Therefore, let us make a provision that it may please the president to consider appointing Inspector General for the period of 4 years to ensure stability.
In 2nd place, our report on Network Africa regarding the DRC troops allegedly surrendering to M23 rebels. Coming first on our countdown is a video in which alleged murderer Timileyin Ajayi pleads not guilty to Salome Adaidu's mother.
It's not my place to prove the case. It's my place to defend him. The essence of the work of the Defense Counsel is to ensure that the prosecution does their own work legally well, which is to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt.
That's it on our countdown today. Join us next week for more.